The German keyboard layout is a QWERTZ keyboard layout commonly used in Germany and Austria. It is based on one defined in a former edition of the German standard DIN 2137-2. The current edition DIN 2137-1 2012-06 standardizes it as the first one of three layouts, calling it a OET1 a Euro. The German layout differs from the English layouts in four major ways. The positions of the Z and Y keys are switched, this change being made for two major reasons. Z is a much more common letter than Y in German. The latter rarely appears outside words whose spellings reflect either their importation from a foreign language or the Hellenization of an older German form under the influence of Ludwig I of Bavaria. T and Z often appear next to each other in the German orthography, and placing the two keys next to each other minimizes the effort needed for typing the two characters in sequence. Part of the keyboard is adapted to include umlauted vowels. The placements of some special symbols are changed, some of special key inscriptions are changed from an abbreviation to a graphical symbol, and most of the other abbreviations are replaced by German abbreviations. ESC for escape is not translated however. Like many other non-American keyboards, German keyboards change the right Alt key into an Alt-GR key to access a third level of key assignments. This is necessary because the umlauts and some other special characters leave no room to have all the special symbols of ASCII, needed by programmers among others, available on the first or second levels without unduly increasing the size of the keyboard. General information. The characters are squared, are cubed, a micron, and are accessed by holding the Alt-GR key and tapping the other key. The Alt key on the left will not access these additional characters. Alternatively, Ctrl plus Alt and pressing the respective key also produce the alternative characters on some operating systems. The accent keys, are dead keys. Press and release an accent key, then press a letter key to produce accented characters. If the entered combination is not encoded in Unicode by a single code point, most current implementations cause the display of a freestanding version of the accent followed by the unaccented base letter. This behavior leads some users suffering from insufficient typing skills to mistype a spacing accent instead of an apostrophe. Note that the semicolon and colon are accessed by using the A section shift key. The OET1 a Euro layout lacks some important characters like the German-style quotation marks. As a consequence, these are seldom used in Internet communication, and are used instead. The OET2 a Euro layout newly defined in DIN 2137-1 2012-06 was designed to overcome such restrictions, but in first line to enable the writing of all primary languages of all countries of the world, as long as these use the Latin script. Therefore, it contains several additional diacritical marks and punctuation characters, including the full set of German, English, and French-style quotation marks in addition to the typographic apostrophe, the prime, the double prime, and the eochina. The image shows characters to be entered using Alt-GR in the lower left corner of each key depiction. Diacritical marks are marked by a flat rectangle which also indicates the position of the diacritical mark relative to the base letter. The characters shown at the right border of a keytop are accessed by pressing a special key combination before. For those marked green, the corresponding capital letter is available by pressing the Shift key simultaneously. In addition, DIN 2137-1 2012-06 defines a layout a Euro OET3 a Euro, which is a superset of a Euro OET2 a Euro incorporating the whole a Euro OE secondary group a Euro as defined in ISO IEC 9995-3 2010. Thus, it enables to write several minority languages and transliterations, but is more difficult to comprehend than the a Euro OET2 a Euro layout, and therefore not expected to be accepted by a broad audience beyond experts who need this functionality. Contrary to many other languages, German keyboards are usually not labeled in English. The abbreviations used on German keyboards are, on some keyboards, the asterisk key on the numeric keypad is instead labeled with the multiplication sign and the divide key is labeled with the division sign instead of slash. The behavior of a caps lock according to former editions of the DIN 2137 standard is inherited from mechanical typewriters, Pressing it once shifts all keys including numbers and special characters until the caps lock key is pressed again. Holding a section shift while a caps lock is active unshifts all keys. Both a section shift and a caps lock lack any textual labels. The caps lock key is simply labeled with a large down arrow and a section shift is labeled with a large up arrow. The current DIN 2137-1-2012-06 simply requests the presence of OE capitals lock a euro key, without any description of its function. In IT, an alternative behavior is often preferred, usually described as IBM, which is the same as a caps lock on English keyboards. Only letters are shifted, and hitting a caps lock again releases it. History. See also, ISO IEC 9995, Notes and References.